My name is Jessica Spears. Myself and John Eller are the organizers of Artemis Rally. Today I just want to go over a few useful tidbits for the Artemis Rally. So first thing, this kind of sounds silly, but always know what time it is. When you are participating in the Artemis Rally, knowing what time it is crucial. Mainly because every day you are going to get what's called a waypoint scroll. On that scroll you're going to have waypoints, and there may be some times that you're supposed to be at certain locations, like a rendezvous point. In Artemis 2023, we had all the ladies show up at a beautiful overlook so that we could get some drone footage, and there was actual points added to your score if you showed up on time, and that you're present and that you showed up on time. So if you're not there, you don't get the points. So make sure that you know what time it is. That's very important. Regarding time, when you get your waypoint scroll, you need to make sure that you know what time you were supposed to be at your bivouac that night. If the time is 5:30, that does not mean 5:35, 5:37. Traffic can be bad. You have to account for all of those things. So if you know that you're in an area that typically has 5 o'clock traffic, you might want to start heading that way at 4. So just account for those things. One of the biggest things is try not to get stumped. So if you're looking at your waypoint scroll and you've got a waypoint on there and you're just like, this one's stumping me, I don't really know how to obtain this waypoint, the best thing to do is to move on. Sometimes clarity comes after you move on. So if you will move on and maybe do some other waypoints, you may end up having enough time, or maybe your brain gets triggered and you're like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to obtain that. So you can always go back if you have enough time. So just make sure you're good on the time. Once you're given your waypoint scroll, don't feel like you have to rush out of the bivouac. There's this, I'm sure you've experienced this before, when you have a team or you're competing, that once you're given that information to just go, get out of the camp, get on the road as fast as possible. That is not always the best way to do it. Make sure you read through your waypoints, take the time to put it into whatever GPS system you are using. Have a plan. It's not a good idea to just get out of camp and drive around for an hour aimlessly, burning fuel, burning your energy, trying to figure out where to start. So if it takes you 45 minutes before you actually pull out of the bivouac, there's nothing wrong with that. Always know where you're going. That kind of goes back to that. Make sure that you have a point to start with. It's always best to know where you're going first, where you're going second, and then the subsequent places to go from there. That's why it might be a good idea to put your waypoints in the beginning. Go ahead and put them all in so you can see the map. You can get an idea of where you need to go from point A to point B all the way through. One important thing to know about Artemis is that everything is optional. So some people may not like, one of the firearms challenge. That's okay. Just make sure you try to make up those points by doing something that you are comfortable with. So when you're given that waypoint scroll, if you're looking at it and something makes you nervous or you're uncomfortable with, just eliminate that. Know what you need to eliminate to strengthen your team. Some useful things to have in your vehicle are glass cleaner. If you've ever been on a dirt road, windshield wipers don't really cut it. So have glass cleaner, good glass cleaner, name brand Windex or the spray bottle glass cleaner. Can't spray away, that's the best. Make sure you have paper towels. Glass cleaner doesn't work if you don't have paper towels. So make sure you have that. I think Elizabeth covered wipes, body wipes. That's always a good thing to have, just to clean your hands. Some of the waypoint challenges that we may have may involve you getting your hands dirty in some dirt. So I, for one, don't like to drive around with dirt on my hands. So make sure you have a way to clean your hands. Places to use the bathroom. That's one of the biggest things that I get asked by the ladies. Are you going to add bathroom stops on the waypoints? Nope, sorry. That's something you have to figure out. So if you have something like a Garmin Tread and many of the other navigation tools, you have an option to put in places to use the bathroom. So maybe do that and make that part of your navigation route in the morning. There is always the old trusty pull off on the side of the road and go in the woods. That's what I do. If you're not comfortable with that, try to figure out what you are comfortable with. Hate to get into this, there are female urinals. If you just are not good with squatting in the woods, take a urinal. Do something to make yourself comfortable, but plan ahead if you can. Another thing that's very important with Artemis Rally is reliable cell service. You're not always going to have service, but the goal is to at some point arrive somewhere where you have enough cell service to upload your information to whatever social media platform we use, typically Instagram. So make sure that you have that. You can use or bring what's called Starlink. I know that can be a little pricey, but if you have access to one, maybe you can rent one from someone, borrow one. That is completely acceptable in Artemis Rally. A lot of people have what's called a WeBoost. We're a little iffy on those only because they boost the cell service that you currently have. So if you only have one bar and you have a WeBoost, well, it's trying to boost off of that one bar of cell service. It may work. If you have one, bring it. That's great. But just keep that in mind. Another thing to pay attention to is that there might be some places in some of the towns that you come across that may have free Wi-Fi. So pay attention to their signs. You know, like Bojangles will say free Wi-Fi, something like that. So access those if you have the option to. It's just very important I wouldn't go too many hours without uploading your content. Okay, one of the most obvious things that you need to pay attention to is obeying all traffic laws. Your responsibility is to make sure you are within the posted speed limit sign and obeying normal traffic laws. One thing that will make you late to camp is if you get pulled over. So let's try to avoid that. We always encourage teams to work together. I believe last year a team came across another team that was having some vehicle trouble, and they stopped, offered assistance. We love that. So that's just good, camaraderie within the Artemis Rally teams or the group of teams. So we always encourage that, and please do that. The last thing is your vehicle awareness. So every morning and every night it is important to do a vehicle walk around. Make sure that your tire pressure is right. Make sure you don't have a flat tire. Make sure your windshield wipers are still in working order. Also, if you're like me and you're doing something while you're driving, when you're done with that item, you're laying it in the back seat. By the end of the day, you're going to have an entire back seat full of, well, probably trash, whatever you're eating, whatever instruments or whatever you've pulled out. So when you get into camp, it is super important to make sure that you're cleaning your windshield, cleaning your headlights, making sure that you get all of your items back in the proper place. You can't express that enough, that needs to happen. And be aware of what is going on under your vehicle. John said earlier there's not a lot of challenging off-road stuff here in North Carolina, but there will be some if you choose to do that. So make sure that you're keeping up with what is going on underneath your vehicle.